Hi, I was just watching a lecture or a debate on the legalization of marijuana or the decriminalizing of marijuana in the state of California. It's between the chief of police of Cerritos, um, the founder of Oaksterdam, and a physician, a private practice, a psychiatrist who you'll see sort of presents his credentials. But I wanna emphasize on the Chiefs' reaction and provide a little commentary afterwards. So let's try to do this as smooth as possible with the highest quality production value available.
Also, as as the chief knows, uh, alcohol use is certainly associated with a lot of violence. Uh, People under the influence of marijuana, seldom engage in violence. The violence associated with marijuana has to do with the fact that it is illegal, and there may be, turf wars, or there may be disputes among people who are dealing it. But it's not because of the effect of the marijuana on individuals.
Chief, a brief rebuttal before we move on.
It seems like every time you have a debate like this, it's always law enforcement against an advocate, and I think that's unfair, and I think that we should bring in some of the public health people into this arena, because I think that's a major cost.
Chief, I have a master's degree in public health.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate what you're getting ready to say. One of the things that I don't think has gotten enough press is that on May 22nd of this year, the state of California declared marijuana smoke carcinogenic. We talked about it. Mr. Lee articulated the fact that no one so far has died from marijuana. It's going to be interesting to see long term if that's truly the case. Is that there's a reason that they put it on the Prop 65 list, to protect the citizens of California. We understand the sins or the problems associated with tobacco. A lot of our cities have banned it in our public parks. We have banned it in buildings. We've banned it in restaurants. Marijuana has 33 of the same carcinogenics as marijuana. 33. And that's as of this date right now. There's a reason why the state of California placed it on the list of carcinogenics. That's a health concern. That's a public policy question. So if I understand it in my simple mind, we are going to legalize something that we know that is going to be cancer and the associated health costs. That does not make sense to me. I realize I'm not a very complex person, but I do know that is it the responsibility of the citizens of California to pay for a substance when we know there's going to be a cost associated that is going to be outweighed by the tax revenue generated?
Now, what I think is most significant about that response from a chief of police in a city as big as Cerritos, which is not a small place, they have their own they have their own police force. They're in I think they're kind of in Orange County, but anyways, they're in the Orange County, LA area. I just know that it seems everywhere I've been in Los Angeles and around it, Cerritos always seems to be far from it. But so this, but I've worked there. It's a great place. But this chief of police here comes up with this response. This is the difficulty in the dialogue in the United States. His response is not in any way based on the perceived responsibility to be correct. See, it's not a matter of compiling the information to come to a correct analysis. He is arguing public health opinion, which at the same time he is advocating should be an essential part of the conversation. He gets it right next to him because as the police chief, he does not perceive the doctor next to him who's obviously a veteran medical professional. He does not perceive him to have a grasp or the ability to express a opinion that can be considered based on public health. It's just about feeling right. That's it. And that's the dangerous part about the current political and social dialogue within the United States, is that it's not that it's his fault that he feels that he feels it's that important to feel right, more important to feel right than to be right. It's not that it's his fault. It doesn't really matter. If what develops alongside an individual like this is the equally egotistical mentality of, you know what, they only want to feel right, so there's no point in even trying to engage them. That's a reflection of this. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. There has to be a portion of the public that's willing to engage in dialogue in order to continue to advance this social experiment called the United States of America. Now, I'm a critic, and I think rightfully so, but at the same time, part of believing in change is believing in any change. And I think that if America can set the precedent for what it means to unite as a people in democratic dialogue that takes the global geopolitical system into account, I think that it's possible, but that can't happen. And the more the dialogue is broken down and the more bitter the two sides become, history shows that the generations that are coming after us, what we're doing is we're creating a legacy of death, revolution, despair, poverty, nihilism, and horrific tyrannical rule of some sort or another. That is what history teaches, is the aftermath of the path we're on right now. If we cannot figure out a way to formulate political dialogue that allows for the democratic process to flourish, to further flourish and advance and develop within the United States. So let's bridge gaps. Let's understand that our side of the dialogue is just one side of the dialogue of someone else who is America, essentially what America is. And we have to figure out how to bring out a state that that doesn't emphasize on helping them be right, but helping them feel like their participation is critical and important, so they don't feel so alienated. I mean, it's difficult, but that's the challenge of society, I guess.